Welcome to the General Administration of Traffic and the Licenses Affairs Department. Holotech Group also welcomes you to the self-service program of the Unified Theoretical and Electronic Training. Traffic signs. While driving on the road, the driver notices the presence of a large number of different shapes and colors of road signs, which are installed on poles on the sides of the streets and intersections. Traffic signs are placed in order to inform drivers of an important information that facilitates his use of the road on which he is driving, and to avoid the occurrence of an accident that may endanger his life and the lives of others. Let's start learning driving in the right way to reach a combination of both safe and professional driving on our country's roads. Let the tour begin. Driving licenses. Article 29 of Traffic Law number 19 of 2007 states that driving of any motor vehicle on the road shall take place only after obtaining a license from the licensing authority, entitling the holder to drive such a vehicle. Types of driving licenses. Driving licenses are classified in the state of Qatar according to the following types. Motorcycle driving license. Authorizes its holder to drive a motorcycle with an engine capacity exceeding 50 cubic centimeters, moves with 2 wheels or more, and is not designed in the shape of a car. Light motor vehicle driving license. Authorizes its holder to drive different types of private light motor vehicles, private transport vehicles of total weight not exceeding 5 tons, and light buses with a passenger capacity not exceeding 25 passengers. Heavy motor vehicle driving license. Bus. Authorizes its holder to drive buses with a passenger capacity exceeding more than 25 passengers, including the driver. Med truck. Authorizes its holder to drive heavy motor vehicles of total weight that does not exceed 13 tons and not less than 5 tons, and buses with a capacity of more than 25 passengers. Trailer. Authorizes its holder to drive heavy motor vehicles of total weight exceeds 13 tons, in addition to driving buses or med trucks. Equipment driving license. Forklift. Authorizes its holder to drive forklift. Loader, bulldozer. Authorizes its holder to drive loader and less equipment vehicles, including automatic picker, grader, dumper, tractor, and similar light motor vehicles registered and licensed by the General Administration of Traffic. Crane. Authorizes its holder to drive crane and less equipment vehicles, including service crane, telescopic crane, lights maintenance crane, and other similar motor vehicles registered and licensed by the General Administration of Traffic. Excavator. Authorizes its holder to drive excavator and less equipment vehicles, including roller, milling machine bulldozer, tracked crane, launcher, tracked excavator, in addition to tracked light motor vehicles or those who move on iron tire, which are registered and licensed by the General Administration of Traffic. Handicapped light motor vehicle driving licenses. Authorizes its handicapped holder to drive a vehicle with special specifications. Temporary driving license for vehicles driving learning. It includes the following types. Motorcycle driving learning license. Light motor vehicle driving learning license. Heavy motor vehicle driving learning license. Motor vehicles and equipment driving learning license. Handicap special specifications vehicles driving learning license. Driving licensee obligations. Licensee must hold the license while driving and to show it to the police officers on demand. The owner or the possessor of the vehicle is not allowed to entrust its driving to a person who does not hold a driving license entitling him to drive the vehicle. It is not allowed for anyone to get more than a driving license of one type. It is also not allowed to use a driving license or to permit others to use it in a manner violating the law or for illegal benefit. It is not allowed for others to use or accept it in cases not prescribed by the law. In case of loss or damage of the driving license, the holder has to inform Traffic Department or one of its nearest branches. He may apply to the licensing authority for lost or damaged replacement after the payment of the prescribed fee. If the lost license was found, it should be returned to the licensing authority. General conditions for obtaining driving licenses. Age requirement to grant driving licenses for motorcycle, light vehicle or handicaps. The applicant should be attained the age of 18 years. Heavy vehicle, motor vehicles, equipment or public vehicle, the applicant age must be at least 21 years. In all cases, the proof of age is by the birth certificate, official copy thereof, or any evidence approved by General Traffic Department. Medical fitness to grant driving licenses of any type. The medical fitness of the applicant must be proved by healthiness of vision and body. The healthiness of vision is determined by eye ground, vision power, and distinguishing of colors. The competent medical authority in Ministry of Interior shall identify the diseases and disabilities that prevent granting the driving license. It shall also determine to the applicant to use eyeglasses or any other medical means to obtain the necessary vision power, provided that the healthiness of eye ground. Medical examination will be performed on the form prepared by the Traffic Department, fixed on it a photo of the applicant who is required to be medically examined. The examination will be performed by the authority designated by Traffic Department. Blood group must be specified on the medical examination form and on the license. Passing driving tests. Theoretical test. It contains traffic rules, ethics, signs, signals, basic principles of operation and method of use of vehicle, and principles of first aid. Practical test. In the light of the result of the theoretical test and passing of the applicant, he will be sent directly to the practical test. This will be done over 2 stages. First stage, field test, inside training field. This will be done by conducting practical driving tests inside training field to know the ability of the applicant to execute the specified exercises. Second stage, street test. Applicant will be tested practically in the street, and by passing this test, he will be granted a full driving license. In street test, the ability of the applicant to perform the following will be identified. Start the engine. Move the vehicle forward and backward. Use the gear. Normal and sudden stops on slopes. Queuing the vehicle along the pavement, between other vehicles, on slopes, between specified marks and lines. Get out of the route to another route, turning right and left. Use the necessary signals at the appropriate time when change the movement situations. Commit with traffic signals, marks, lines, and the signals performed by the driver of the other vehicle in the range of attention and respond to traffic instructions and orders. Crossing the crossroads, squares, and roundabouts. Turning the vehicle in a limited space of the road. Familiarity with using vehicle lights, side and internal mirrors. Fees payment. After passing the test, designated fees should be paid to obtain the license. Procedures for obtaining driving licenses. Qataris and GCC nationals. 2 recent personal photos size 4 cm by 6 cm. Copy of ID card, personal ID card. Medical examination form approved by the certified doctor. Residents and visitors. 2 recent personal photos size 4 cm by 6 cm. Copy of applicant passport and residence permit or personal ID card or visa if he is a visitor. Medical examination form approved by the certified doctor. No objection letter from the sponsor or signature and stamp of the sponsor on the form. Copy of company registration or copy of sponsor ID card for personal sponsorships. Handicaps. 2 recent personal photos size 4 cm by 6 cm. Copy of personal ID card for Qataris and GCC nationals and copy for personal ID card for residents or the residence stamped on the passport. Medical certificate specifying type of disability issued from the competent medical body determined by traffic department. For non-Qataris, no objection letter from the sponsor or signature and stamp of the sponsor on the form, and copy of company registration or copy of sponsor ID card for personal sponsorships. International driving licenses. International driving licenses are valid in the state of Qatar held by the expats, tourists, visitors, and passers-by, issued in accordance with the Vienna Convention 1968, for a period of their validity without prejudice to the purpose of tourism visit or transit. Their holders are allowed to drive vehicles licensed by those licenses to be driven only. Renewal of the license while the license holder is in Qatar is not valid. Provisions of international, regional, and bilateral agreements are applicable to driving licenses that are subject to provisions of international, regional, or bilateral agreements to which the state is a part of. It is allowed to residents of GCC of Gulf Arab states to drive in the state of Qatar with the driving licenses issued from the state of residence, provided that they are valid. Visitors and tourists. Traffic Department may allow visitors and tourists who hold non-Qatari driving licenses to drive vehicles according to the following conditions. To visit the Traffic Department within 15 days from the date of entry to the state of Qatar to approve the license. Non-violation of the purpose of the visit or tourism. The license is valid. Validity and renewal of driving licenses. Renewal of driving licenses. Driving license must be renewed no later than 30 days following its date of expiry. It is not allowed to drive the vehicle on the road without renewal of the driving license. Validity of driving licenses. Validity of the driving licenses of all kinds is 10 years for Qataris from date of issuance, and 5 years for non-Qataris, excluding public driving licenses, which is 1 year from the date of issuance. and temporary driving licenses, which is 3 months from the date of issuance. The renewal is for similar period after the payment of the designated fees. Roundabouts. Definition of a roundabout. It is a crossroad, consists of one or more lanes. In its middle there is a central island in a circular shape. All vehicles must move anti-clockwise. Roundabout direction mandatory signs. The driver must adhere to the direction of motion on the intersection ahead, which is in the form of a roundabout, and he has to apply the roundabout rule to move anti-clockwise as the arrows indicate on the mandatory sign. The driver must adhere to the direction on the sign that indicates to the right. Hence, he has to reduce speed of his vehicle and take the lane suitable to the direction that he wants to move in. Roundabout warning signs. The driver must be aware and warned that there is a roundabout ahead. Hence, he has to reduce his speed and give way to the vehicles entering to the roundabout. Roundabout directional informatory signs. These signs are placed to indicate the remaining distance to roundabout entrance. Roundabout warning road marking. It is used to warn the driver of the existence of a roundabout and requires to reduce speed. It exists before roundabout entrance in white color. Rules followed in dealing with two-lane roundabout. A. Turn right, first exit. When turn right, do the following. Approach roundabout in the right lane and remain in this lane. Give right turn signal when approaching. Verify traffic motion at the left side. Give way to vehicles coming from the left if there are vehicles coming. Remain the signal until exiting from the roundabout. Give way to pedestrians when turning right. Exit from roundabout to the right lane of the road. B. Moving forward in a straight line, second exit. If you want to move forward in a straight line, do the following. Approach the roundabout in the lane that leads you to the lane you want after crossing roundabout. You have to take the decision early. When entering the roundabout, verify traffic motion at the left side and give way to the coming vehicles and keep moving if the road is clear. Give right turn signal after passing the first exit to make drivers know that you are exiting from the roundabout to the second exit. C. Turn left, third or fourth exit. If you want to turn left, do the following. Approach roundabout always in the left lane or as indicated by arrows on the road. Remain in the same lane while moving around the roundabout. When exiting, give right turn signal after passing the second or the third exit according to your direction to make drivers know that you will exit from the roundabout at the next exit. Verify that there are no vehicles at your right when you start to exit. Rules followed in dealing with three-lane roundabouts. A. Turn right, first exit. It is the same as two-lane roundabout. Do the following. Approach in the right lane and remain in this lane. Give right turn signal when approaching. Verify traffic motion at the left side. Give way to the coming vehicles. Remain the signal until exiting from the roundabout. Exit from roundabout to the right lane of the road. B. Moving forward in a straight line, second exit. It is the same as two-lane roundabout, and selection of the lane depends on what you will do after passing the roundabout. This will be decided according to your selection of the right lane or the middle lane. If you are required to do something at the right after exiting from the roundabout, select the right lane. You can select right lane or the middle lane. Verify traffic motion at your left when entering the roundabout. Give way if there are vehicles coming and keep going if the road is clear. Keep in the lane while moving around the roundabout and when exiting from it. Give right signal after passing the first exit to make driver